The doorbell rang at 9:47 p.m. I wasn't expecting anyone, but I knew who it was before I opened the door. The woman standing on my porch was not a stranger. She was the woman who had been planning to steal my life. Woman who had been planning to steal my life one dinner party, one business meeting, one late night message at a time. Her name was Simone Ashford. She was elegant, polished, and she had no idea I was ready for her. But I wasn't just ready, I had been waiting. My name is Clara. I'm 52 years old. My husband Daniel and I have been married for 26 years. We have 2 children, Ethan and Lily. We have a beautiful home, a successful business, and a life that looked perfect from the outside. But perfect is just a word people use when they haven't looked closely enough. Daniel and I met in college. He was charming, ambitious, and he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. We built a life together, brick by brick, year by year. I thought we were building forever. I was wrong. It started with a message, a late-night message that lit up his phone while he was in the shower. His passcode was still our wedding date. Pathetic how easy it was. I opened it, just enough to see the thread, enough to know. The messages weren't just flirtatious, they were planned. They talked about the future, about the right time, about waiting until Lily leaves for school. Daniel was in the shower. I had 12 minutes. I counted every one. My thumbs moved before my brain could stop them. I typed back, "Come over, she's gone." I hit send. The regret hit instantly, a cold wave down my spine. But the message was already delivered. I placed the phone exactly where I'd found it and stood there listening. The shower water continued its rhythm. The clock on the wall ticked. The refrigerator hummed low and steady. 12 minutes. I counted every one. I lowered myself onto a bar stool, hands folded in my lap. My reflection in the dark window looked like a stranger, calm face, steady eyes. Inside, my thoughts spun in tight circles. Who is she? How long? Why tonight? But I didn't cry. I didn't call upstairs. I just waited. The doorbell rang. The sound cut through the house like a blade. I walked to the front door, smoothing my sweater, and opened it. Simone Ashford stood on my porch. 49, elegant, even in the porch light, wearing a tailored coat and subtle makeup that said she hadn't come by accident. Her face paled when she saw me. "Where is Daniel?" The words hung between us. I stepped aside. "Come in." She hesitated only a second before crossing the threshold, her heels clicking softly on the hardwood. The scent of her perfume, something expensive and floral, filled the entryway. It was familiar in a way that turned my stomach. I closed the door behind her with a quiet click. Upstairs, the shower stopped. Footsteps moved across the bathroom floor. Daniel came down the stairs, hair still damp, wearing a grey t-shirt and joggers. He reached the landing and froze. His eyes flicked from me to Simone and back. No explosion of shock, just a flicker of something calculated. Surprised that I was there witnessing this. Clara. I didn't answer him. I watched Simone instead. The way she glanced at him, a silent exchange passing between them. They weren't scrambling for excuses. They had been here before in this moment. In their minds, at least. The realization settled over me like frost. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This had been building quietly right under my post roof. This isn't what it looks like. We should talk like adults. Clara, all of us. I studied them both. The careful distance they kept, the way their eyes met for support. My voice came out even full, almost gentle. How long have you both been waiting for me to step aside? The question landed like a stone in still water. The next morning arrived grey and quiet. I made coffee like always. Daniel came down, tie slightly crooked, and kissed my cheek out of habit. I let him. My face stayed neutral as he grabbed his keys and left. The door shut behind him with a soft finality. Only then did I move. I started with our shared finances on the laptop at the kitchen table. Login after login, account after account. At first, the transfers looked innocent. Small amounts wired regularly to something called Ashford Consulting. Daniel had mentioned it once. A tax consultant Simone recommended helps with the business deductions, he'd said casually over dinner months ago. I'd nodded then, trusting him. Now I dug deeper. The company linked back to Simone her signature on filings, her address. The payments weren't huge, but consistent enough to matter. Joint account money, our money. I screenshot everything. Up in Daniel's home office. The room smelled of paper and faint leather from his chair. I went through the drawers, methodically, not rushing. That's when I found the folder. Inside were printouts of a lakeside condo, the same details from the envelope Simone dropped. Deposit schedules, a draft separation agreement dated weeks earlier, lists of our assets, neatly divided in Daniel's handwriting, and a handwritten note that stopped me cold. Clara will resist at first. Wait until Lily leaves for school. My fingers traced the ink. The date matched Lily's move-in day at college. They had timed this not just an affair, a calculated exit strategy that left me vulnerable. Kids gone, finances quietly drained, narrative already shaped. The betrayal sank deeper. But I didn't cry. I photographed every page with my phone. Careful angles, clear lighting. Evidence, that's what mattered now. I sat in his chair for a long moment, staring at the note. The office window overlooked our backyard, the maple tree we planted when Ethan was small. Memories tried to surface, but I pushed them down. Not now. I called Helen Mercer. She picked up on the second ring. Clara, you sound off. What's going on? I told her everything. The message, Simone at the door, the folder, the note. No tears, just facts. Men like Daniel don't fear tears. They fear paperwork. Don't confront him yet. Document everything. And whatever you do, don't leave the house. Her practicality anchored me. By the end, she gave me a name, David Cross. Family law guy in town. Old school but sharp. Tell him I sent you. He doesn't do drama. He does strategy. I met David Cross the next afternoon in his modest office downtown. Do you want revenge? Or do you want protection? Both, but protection first. Smart. Using joint funds for this Ashford Consulting could work in your favor during division of assets. The premeditation, the note about waiting for your daughter to leave shows intent. That strengthens your position. 1 week later, the anniversary dinner for Daniel's company arrived. 30 years of his small manufacturing business celebrated at the local country club with colleagues, friends, church members, and family. Ethan had driven in from out of state. Lily came home for the weekend. In my clutch, I carried a thin envelope containing the most damning pieces, screenshots of the messages, bank transfer records, the lakeside condo listing, and a scanned copy of that handwritten note. Not everything, just enough. The club ballroom glittered with chandeliers and autumn centerpieces. Daniel took the stage for his speech. I couldn't have done it without the support of my calm, incredible wife, Clara. She stood by me through every challenge. I sat at our table, hands folded, feeling the weight of the envelope in my lap. Simone stood near the side, smiling like a woman who had already won. Daniel continued, "We've had our share of ups and downs, like any long marriage. Sometimes life asks us to make brave changes, to step into new chapters with grace and honesty." The words landed precisely. Brave changes, new chapters. The narrative was already spreading quietly, tastefully. The Whitlocks were separating, amicably. I stood up. The chair scraped softly against the floor. Conversations dipped. Eyes turned toward me. I walked to the front, envelope in hand. My heels measured on the polished wood. I stopped at the microphone and spoke. Voice clear and calm. Before my husband talks about brave changes, I think everyone here should know who has really been planning them. The silence deepened. I opened the envelope and held up the first page. Bank records. Joint funds transferred to a company tied to Simone Ashford. I set it down and lifted another, the lakeside condo they'd been viewing together. And this note in my husband's handwriting. Clara will resist at first. Wait until Lily leaves for school. Gasps rippled through the room. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The documents spoke clearly enough. Simone had gone pale near the side wall. Daniel's face tightened, his hand clenching at his side. I don't expect this room to choose sides tonight. I just needed you to remember what actually happened. Ethan stood slowly at our table, staring at his father. Lily's eyes were wide, filling with tears. I stepped back from the mic, leaving the envelope on the stand. The truth was out. Not all of it, but enough. The Bible says in Proverbs 27:4, "Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming. But who can stand before jealousy?" Simone's jealousy had been building for years, and Daniel let it. Simone's jealousy had been building for years, and Daniel let it. But I wasn't going to let it destroy me. And in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." I was brokenhearted. I was crushed in spirit. But I wasn't crushed alone. Here's what I learned. Baby, 1. Release the weight of betrayal. Write down every hurt and burn it in a safe place. Let the smoke carry it away. Psalm 55:22 says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you." 2. Reclaim your voice. Practice saying no to what diminishes you. Start with one small boundary each day. Joshua 1-9 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid." 3. Rebuild your identity. List 5 things that are true about you that no one can take away. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come." 4. Find your safe circle. Trust one person fully and let them walk with you through the fire. Proverbs 27-17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." 5. Step into your future. Take one small step today, not toward what you're leaving, but toward who you are becoming. Jeremiah 29-11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future." Daniel moved out 2 weeks later. The divorce would take time, but the lines were drawn clearly. He looked older when he loaded the last box into his car. Part of me still mourned the man I had married, but I no longer mourned the version he had become. On a quiet evening, I stood at the kitchen window again. The rain had stopped. The sun was setting over the maple tree we planted when Ethan was small. I thought about Daniel, about Simone, about the life I thought I had, and then I thought about tomorrow, and for the first time in years, I was ready for it. Sometimes the truth doesn't come through a doorbell. Sometimes it's been waiting for you all along to set you free. So here's my question for you tonight. What truth is out there waiting to find you? If this story touched your heart, you're not alone. I invite you to join the Granny's Gift family. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so we can share more stories of hidden truths, unexpected healing, and the God who reveals what has been buried. In the comments below, I want to hear from you. What is a hidden truth in your life that needs to be brought to light? I'm not afraid to hear it. God isn't afraid to heal it. Remember, God is a God of hidden treasures. He hides things in plain sight, waiting for us to discover them. He hides healing in our pain, beauty in our ashes, and hope in our despair. Take care of yourself, my dear friend. I'll see you in the next story, and it'll be even more shocking. Bye for now.